All right, so I was watching Joy Behar talking on The View. And yes, it's embarrassing to me to admit that sometimes I watch The View, but it's mostly because I'm just too fucking lazy to get up and find the remote and then change the goddamn TV channel. But Joy Behar is on The View, and she's talking about polyamorous relationships. And if you don't know what polyamorous relationships are, polyamorous relationships are relationships where you can have other lovers, sex with other people besides your chosen mate. You know, like your husband, your boyfriend, your booty call, whatever. So anyway, Joy is on The View, and everybody's talking about polyamorous relationships, right? So Joy Behar immediately says, "That's not for me because now I'd have to be faking two orgasms, one for each lover." And first of all, I'm like, imagine that. Joy Behar orgasming for real? Like, ow, ow, ow. I would have to say no, thank you. I'm not going to do that, right? Imagine it, I mean, or be there or anything, right? But anyway, so imagine if you were in a relationship with Joy Behar, right? You're her husband, you're her boyfriend, you're her booty call, you're her whatever. You know what? Actually, you're her husband because guess what? In real life, Joy Behar is married to some sap named Steve Janowitz. So anyway, imagine then the goal of someone as unsexy as Joy Behar, your chosen mate, Steve Janowitz. Imagine Joy Behar being on TV and in front of the world on her national TV show, The View, with all her other dummy friends, right? Joy Behar is on a national TV show called The View, emasculating you sexually because you can't give her, of all the unsexy people in the world, you can't give her, Joy Behar, a satisfying orgasm that she can then, brag about to her stupid friends on The View. Yeah. I had the best orgasm last night. Thank you, Steve Janowitz, right? But no. So, I mean, on my part, personally, I think we should all just give Mr. Steve Janowitz a break because, well, I mean, what do you think is even going on down there with Joy Behar? Do you think Joy has like a pretty vagina, or do you think more likely it's all floppy with saggy skin folds, just flopping around, like a grandpa's ball sack in the wind, and then the thing all semi covered by like this big gray pube afro, like any grandma's would be, right? I mean, I'm guessing that Joy has someone to dye the gray hairs on her head. Maybe once a week. I don't really know, right? But do you think Joy has someone she pays to do her gray pubes on her vagina? Like prettying everything up down there. And if she does, do you think it's most likely the same person that dyes her head and her vagina hairs? I mean, I think it is, and I think it's probably at the same time, right? Because that would make sense. And who knows? Maybe it's important to Joy Behar to have the carpet matching the drapes, for when Steve Janowitz has to look at her naked, right? But you know what? Probably Joy Behar waxes. That's what I'm gonna guess. I'm imagining, and I don't know why but I I would think probably Joy Behar would just have someone come in and just rip it all out, And I'm imagining again, yikes. I'm imagining that if she waxes, that Joy Behar's vagina is probably totally hairless, and I guess it's not that horrible to look at. But I mean, even if it isn't that horrible to look at, and uh, I don't know, maybe it is. But what I'm saying now is like, let's say Joy Behar's vagina isn't that horrible to look at, and you can kind of you kind of, okay, Joy, come on, we're gonna do this, right? But I'm saying, like, so you're there and you committed now. You're Steve Janowitz, and you're like, all right, Joy, we're gonna do this, right? What I'm gonna say next is, like, do you think that even if everybody's okay, hey, what the hell, let's do this. Do you think that Joy Behar can even have like impromptu, spontaneous sex? Like Steve could have that with her anyway? I mean, without having like a big tub of lube just handy. I mean, here's how it. This is probably what would happen, right? It would be like, wait, Steve Janowitz, before you stick it in, get off me, right? And go into the bathroom and look under the cabinet and check behind the preparation 8. There's going to be a big jar of Vaseline, right? So you're Steve Janowitz and you're like, okay. And you go into the bathroom and you get the big jar of Vaseline. And then again, you're still Steve Janowitz, right? So you go like, all right, I got the big jar of Vaseline, right? And you open it up and there's all the, you're like, there it is. And the first thing you see is there's all these gray pubes in it, right? And yeah, you know what happens then? Erection gone. I mean, do you think that if you, Steve Janowitz, you can get an erection, right? Looking at Joy Behar in her pajamas, right? And then she takes them off or whatever, right? Whatever she wears to bed. And I'm assuming it's not going to be like a sexy negligee. I'm just totally, I mean, maybe she sleeps in the nude, it saves time. But so there it is. She's not in a sexy negligee. She's just Joy Behar, all naked in her glory, in Joy Behar's glory, right? And you're like, you know what? I got an erection. I could get an erection from looking at Joy Behar, and then I'm you know what? I'm gonna put it in it. Put it in her. I'm willing to put my erection in Joy Behar, right? So here you are. You're willing to do it. You're like, okay, come on, let's do this, Joy. I'm ready. Here we go. But can you imagine, like, how mad it would make you? How mad you would be because Joy Behar just is like, screw that, and she just emasculates you. She just, she went on The View and she emasculated you. She basically said to America, my husband, Steve Janowitz, can't give me orgasms. Guess what? He's not good at sex. And it's most likely because she thinks that Steve Janowitz has a very small and mushy dick, and she's basically saying that about her man, Steve Janowitz, America. She's saying that her man climbs on top of her, does her thing, and then he selfishly and immediately blows his load. And to her, Joy Behar, right? To her, it's so repulsive to her what he does, right? To her, that when he is considerate enough to ask that if she were able to, and he were able to provide an orgasm, and that she were able to enjoy their episode of what was in his mind most likely passionate lovemaking, right? And so he'll ask her, he'll be like, Joy, that was great for me. I guess. I imagine someone else while we were, I don't know, right? While we were doing it. But he'll say, like, Joy, while we were having our passionate lovemaking, how about it? Were you able to achieve an orgasm like he did, right? Because honestly, as a man, guess what? I'm going to let you in on a secret. Men can't tell with women when women are really having real and not fake orgasms. It's like the fake news, but it's fake orgasm news, right? Because just honestly, a man can never, ever really tell or know for 100% sure. And you're like, why? Why? Why don't men know? Why can't they tell, right? And I'll tell you, the reason why men can never know or tell for sure is because nothing shoots out of a woman's vagina clit to tell us when she's had an orgasm. It's like nothing, like it shoots out of a man's dick. A man has an orgasm, and then sperms come out, and the woman knows it's all finally over, and then she can just push us off and you know and be done with it, right? So anyway, Joy Behar, right? She's so eager to get his Steve Janowitz, sweaty, old, fat, hairy ass, whatever, off of her, right? She just fakes her an orgasm. She just just to get her off of him, right? She's like, ow, 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 and now get off, right? Now get off, right? And that's right. That's how she must do it, because she just told America, she just went on The View and said to America, she says she just fakes an orgasm to get him off of her, right? And so she can just get up and wash off whatever and just go to sleep, whatever she wants to do, right? And I mean, honestly, some guys would get really upset about that. They would be mad, They would it would bother them. But then again, I'm going to say how most guys are, because honestly, most guys wouldn't, because deep down we're kind of lazy and selfish. We're like, I mean, this would be like an honest conversation between a man wanting to have sex with a woman would be more like, hey, I'm Steve Jan. Hey, Joy Behar, how about a 68, right? And Joy Behar would be like, I don't know what a 68 is, Steve what is it? Steve Janowitz. Could you explain to me? So he'd be like, hey, Joy, how about a 68? And when she asks him what a 68 is, Steve Janowitz would say, it's like a 69, a 68. It's like a 69, except you do me, and then I owe you one, right? That would be more like what an honest guy would say to a woman. It's like, no, just do me, screw it, But anyway, some guys do try and please the women. I do, women, in case you want to know. I try and make you enjoy the time that we've spent together, right? But anyway, all I have to say, Joy Behar, right? To you, Joy Behar, you know what? Is get over yourself. Get over yourself, Joy Behar, because you didn't bring, I mean, maybe you brought a little, but you didn't bring Steve Janowitz's penis, Joy, when you mocked it on national TV. I mean, you want this guy to come back and even try. It's like, I'm going to say, come on, Joy. That is your man. That's your man, Steve Janowitz. So why do you have to be so brutal? Why do you have to go straight to his dick? I mean, how would you like it if Steve Janowitz started to complain to all his friends, to like when they're taking pictures of you, call the news people or the interviewers to the side, and he just start complaining about how dry and loose your vagina is, right? And maybe comparing like fucking you, having sex with you, Joy Behar, to like having sex, to like fucking a sandy beach towel, which, you know what, isn't good. I've never done it, but I imagine. So anyway, I'm just going to say, like, Joy Behar and women in general, I'm going to ask you, why do you think guys jerk off so much, right? And I'm going to answer you, this is why. It's easier. We can just jerk off whenever we want. And you know what our hand never does? Our hand never complains. On national TV, our hand never complains to all the friends. And on national TV, on their TV show, it never complains that we didn't give it an orgasm.